Negotiators from over 175 countries are gathering in the Canadian capital of Ottawa to hold talks on a global treaty to reduce plastic pollution. The treaty aims to facilitate coordinated global action and cooperation towards a future free of plastic pollution. But the parties are deeply divided over the measures that the treaty should include. Over 175 nations in March of 2022 had agreed to formulate the first legally binding global treaty on plastics pollution by the end of 2024. This week, members began negotiations to consolidate measures to cut plastic production and end single-use plastic pollution. Calls for bold global action and the right tone setting to stop the rapidly escalating problem of plastic pollution are growing louder. While the UN's deadline for the treaty is towards the end of this year, the chances of progress this week appear dim.
Countries had, with the global biodiversity framework adopted almost 1.5 years ago, they had addressed the issue of plastic pollution with a biodiversity lens. And so it's important that the future plastic treaty refers to these obligations to fighting plastic pollution because biodiversity is endangered with this issue.
The chair at the UN-led talks in Ottawa insists that members must not fail, reiterating the urgency to act fast. The United Nations Environment Programme estimated that each day an equivalent of 2,000 garbage trucks full of plastic is dumped into the world's oceans, rivers and lakes. This is a threat to the environment as well as human health.
It's really important that it's tried and tested to make sure that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past.
Now, despite the dangerous impact on oceans and climate, plastic production continues to rise globally and is projected to double or go up by 3 times by 2050 if nothing changes. Greenhouse gas emissions, meanwhile, would more than double. Environmental activists are pleading for a 75% cut in plastic production by 2040. But this goal is at odds with the oil-producing nations and the plastics industry. The International Union for the Conservation of Nature is urging countries to include in the treaty concerns about plastics' impact on biodiversity. Climate experts, on the other hand, are encouraging nations not to avoid taking difficult decisions. The previous negotiations in Nairobi had stalled last November after the oil-producing nations focused on waste management rather than cutting down the production of plastic. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.